Hi everybody. In this video, we're going to read the next chapter of Enemy Spy. Chapter 5, Where the River Meets the Road. Triple O. I was going to be in trouble when I got home, if I could figure out where home was. I checked my back tire. It was definitely flat. I tried riding it a little anyway. It was worse than walking. So I got off and pushed my bike along the road, looking for houses. There had to be a house here somewhere. Why else was there a road? When I got tired of pushing, I just stood on the road for a while, waiting for someone to come by. That's all I had to do, I told myself. Wait. I'd flag someone down. I'd have them call my mom and explain where I was. He'd come pick me up. But I waited a long time, and no one came by. I finally hid my bike behind some trees and started walking. I didn't want to leave my backpack because it was full of all the things that matter most to me, like my digital camera, my collapsible periscope, binoculars. You know, stuff any cyber superhero carries around with them. Not that being a cyber superhero was doing me a bit of good, being lost in the woods. But still, spy tools are expensive. I sure didn't want them to be stolen or carried off by squirrels. So I lugged them along and just kept walking and walking and walking. And I tried to walk fast, but I was tired and thirsty. Man, was I thirsty. I was also shh, scared. I kept telling myself that if I just stayed on the road, I was bound to run into something. Someone. The farther I walked, the more trees there seemed to be. This road was leading me to the middle of nowhere. And even though it wasn't dark yet, I could tell the sun was on its way down. The road was getting really, really shady. I got to the top of a little hill, and down on the other side there was a wide wooden bridge. No cars, no people, but the bridge made me feel better. It wasn't nearly as big as the Cedar Creek Bridge, but it proved that this wasn't just a road to nowhere. It went to a bridge that took you across a river, and a river. I ran down the road as fast as I could. Water! I crunched through the leaves and pine needles, down the river bank to the stream. Woohoo! Water! I found a steady rock out a ways where the water was flowing strong and clean. Didn't want to get sick from stagnant water. I cupped my hands and drank, and drank, and drank. It was delicious. The best tasting water ever. And when I'd finally had enough to drink, I backed off the rock and started up the river bank. It felt tons better, like I could walk to the moon, maybe even to Mars. Of course, that's 100 million kilometers away, and there isn't any water on Mars, except for maybe some at the poles. So that was probably exaggerating a little. But I could find my way home. Piece of cake. I climbed up the bank and was just getting past the boulders to the trees when a car came thumping over the bridge. I yelled, "Wait!" and tried to run out to the road, but I slipped on a bed of pine needles and fell instead. Some superhero, huh? I knew it was too late. I knew there was no way he saw me, and I was busy thinking, "Rat," when the strangest thing happened. The car pulled off the road and stopped. I almost ran out to it, but I didn't. For some reason, the car looked sinister. It was long, sleek, black, and it was just sitting there giving me the creeps. I crouched behind a tree, and now I was worried that the driver had seen me. I waited for him to do something, but he didn't. He just sat there in his sinister black car for the longest time. I crouched lower. Was he waiting for me to come out? Was he planning to kidnap me? Very slowly, I took out my digital camera. I took out my binoculars. If I was going to get kidnapped, maybe I could leave some evidence behind. evidence that would help my mom and dad get me back. I looked at the car through my binoculars. I could see a man sitting in the driver's seat. He seemed to be looking in his rearview mirror. What was he doing? What was he waiting for? Then the door opened and he got out. He was wearing a black hat, black gloves, shiny black shoes, and a gray trench coat. I crouched lower. This guy hadn't stopped for me. He had no idea I was there. So what was he doing there wearing a hat and gloves and a trench coat in the woods? I put my digital camera lens up to one of my binoculars eyepieces. I held the camera binoculars together tight and zoomed in on the guy, and click, I took a picture of him. I checked the image of the display monitor of my camera. Nice and sharp. I watched the trench coat guy look around, over one shoulder, over the other. Then he reached back inside the car and took out a... What was that? A boulder? Yes, the guy had a boulder. What was he up to? I took another picture of him with the boulder. Another nice shot. The man looked over both shoulders again, then started walking my way, across the road, into the woods. Closer and closer.